So last month, January of 2026, I was able to generate about $17,000 profit to my pocket at the age of 18 years old. Now, I don't say that to brag or whatnot, but I'm kind of just making this video to tell you guys a little about the story of high ticket sales, how I've experienced it, and what a lot of people online don't really tell you about the business model. Now, number one, I've been in high ticket sales since December of 2024. That's when I got my first program, when I invested in setting training, when I learned about the whole space. So it's been about 13 months now because it is now February, the first of it. So yeah, I've been in it for about 13 months. So I'd like to say that I know a little bit about the industry. I made a good chunk of money from it. So I kind of just want to share my thoughts with you guys, tell you guys a little bit about, like I said, what people don't really share online. Now, just to quickly recap, I started in December, and high ticket sales is a business model that a lot of people get into simply for the fact that you can make a lot of money, not a crazy amount of money, but you can make money fast with other business models like trading, drop shipping, freelance brand scaling, crypto, whatever it may be. These are normally business models where you have to learn a skill for periods of time, and then you kind of have to implement it, and then you kind of get a breakthrough, at least in my eyes, through those business models. With high ticket sales though, you can start for free, you can start anywhere, you can honestly start at any sort of age, and you can make money like the same month, the same 2 weeks that you actually get into the business. So that's something that I know a lot of people, the reason that people get into it, because they want to see their first dollar online. Now, yes, you can make good money. However, number two, it is kind of one of the business models that you have a ceiling to do, because all in all, with high ticket sales, in the end, you are an employee, right? You can make good money, you have online, you have the time freedom, you could do it from your laptop, whatever you want with an online business. However, you are still an employee in the end. So I feel like a lot of people have the conception that it's like a get rich quick scheme, and obviously you can make money right at the start, but it's very hard. Now, what it's gonna look like, and what I've at least experienced is, from my experience, was in December of 2024, I first became an appointment setter, and then I was an appointment setter from December 2024 to about February of 2025, so about March, so about 3 or 4 months. And in the time being, this is where a lot of people start out. Almost everyone's done at the start of an appointment setter. No one really starts as a closer. That's literally the route almost everybody has to take. And in the time being, this is where majority of the people who try to get into online business will fail and will give up, because appointment setting, at least in my eyes, is the bottom of the barrel task in any online business. It's worse than, in my opinion, scrolling on a burner in drop shipping and trying to post a bunch of videos all day. It's worse than trying to understand a chart and start to break even or even break profits on day trading. In my eyes, you're setting for so long and you get the least amount of money, you get the least amount of commissions for yourself, and you have to do the most amount of work typically. Like, you have to do, the more work you put in, the more money you will make, but the more work you put in, still you're getting paid the least amount of money throughout the whole team. So appointment setting, if you guys don't already know what it is, high ticket sales is basically where you're selling info and selling products for online people on their behalf. So like an appointment setter, they do all the phone calling. They're a sales rep. They do the phone calling for people who applied for the mentorship, applied for the product. They do the phone calling, make sure they're okay to obviously buy it. They're qualified, they're interested, all that good stuff, and they send them to a closer, where the closer essentially just closes the deal. The appointment setter though, like I said, is doing so many calls all day, and they get such little commission. So that's kind of why it's like bottom of the barrel thing. And it's the start of where you have to start with high ticket sales. So that is why a lot of people in this industry give up, because number one, it's so much work for the least amount of pay. And although you can make your first dollar online, you're still putting in endless amounts of work. So after you do it for a month, maybe, or even 2 months, it's very easy to get tired of. And number two, it's a very boring task. You're saying the same thing over and over and over again to people all day for months on end until you get promoted for a closer role, if you are doing the best on your team. So it's very easy for people to give up on this. Now, something else is that I would say is that although you're appointment setting and although you're doing this for like 3 or 4 months, you don't know guaranteed if you will get promoted as a closer. You have to put in the most work to actually get to that point. So that's something that a lot of people don't tell you about. And the bar, I would say the bar held for appointment setters is very low. Like, number one, to get promoted, you have to do the best on your team, do the most work, make the most money typically. But it's hard to do that because it's such a boring task, and that's what a lot of people don't tell you about. Like, the bar is so low for appointment setters nowadays, especially starting in high ticket sales, so that's why it's the hardest thing, or it can be the hardest thing to get into. Although all the stuff you see online makes it look good, but it's really, essentially it's not, is what I'm here to tell you guys. Number two, closing. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's a lot better than appointment setting, because you just have to take the calls that are on your calendar. You don't have a designated task of how much time you have to do it. You just leave your calendar open. Whatever calls are on your calendar is the calls that you take, and then obviously with your skill set, you close it. Appointment setting is not very much of a skill-based task. It is more of a volume-based task, meaning that the more work that you do, the more you will get paid. With closing, it is a skill-based task. It's not really volume-based. You could take a bunch of calls. Obviously, the more calls you'll take, the more chance you'll have of getting more deals closed. However, if you take 3 calls in a day and you are very skilled at closing and you close, let's say 2 out of the 3 in the day, versus the guy taking 6 calls a day, but he's kind of not that good and he only closes 2 out of the 6, the guy who closed 2 out of 3 did less work and he made more money. So that's why the skill set in closing is a lot more important, because you have to form and reframe so many limiting beliefs to get a buying decision that just takes such a long time to do, because you are on a closing call trying to get a sale for anywhere between like 30 minutes to even up to 2-3 hours if you have a lot of objections. So you have to know exactly what to say and how to hit the main points that you're needing on a closing call throughout that whole time being. So moral of the story is, appointment setting is very hard to get into. It's not hard to get into, it's easy to get into, but it's very hard to do and it's very boring to do. But when you get closing, it's a different switch in it, because you don't need that many skills as an appointment setter. You kind of just need volume. Obviously, there still comes a skill set with it, but it's not as important. But with closing, you need the biggest skill set, and that's honestly a harder thing to grasp onto. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you guys off or anything like that, but this is just what a lot of people online don't tell you about, so expect that if you do plan on getting in the high-ticket sales industry. Number 2, I'm an 18-year-old kid. A lot of these people that you see online, a lot of these people making a lot of money online, they're no different than you. I promise. I live in a house full of other entrepreneurs. All these guys do online business, and we're all normal kids. We all have similar humor. We don't think any differently. No one's above anyone. We just simply put the time in and did the work necessary, whether it was boring, whether we started as appointment setters, whether we started doing trench work, whatever the case may be. We all started with the boring work that no one wanted to do, and we just did it, and that's how we did the inputs every single day to actually get to where we are now. So no matter where you guys are, I was 17 when I got into it. Now I'm 18. If I was 17 and I was in high school, after school, still learning about it, still cranking out dials, still doing all that stuff, anybody could do it, whether you're working a job, whether you are in school, whether you're a college student, whether your parents even know that you should do it, because that's how I was feeling. Regardless of all of it, anybody can get into it. It's just a matter of putting the inputs in every day. I just wanted to give you guys that insight on how the actual industry looks like. Now, some things I also want to talk about are things that I've learned throughout the space, because I feel like it's really important, what a lot of people don't tell you, that you should learn about it and that I wish I would have known before actually getting into it. So number 1 is focus on the skill set over the money. And what I mean is, obviously the end goal with high-ticket sales is to become a closer, become a sales manager, whatever it may be. To be efficient at all these things, you need a skill set. So a lot of people will be in the space for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, be like, why haven't I hit my first 10K month? Why haven't I hit my first 5K month? But they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on making money when instead they should be focusing on their skill set, which will in turn bring them more money. So that's something that I was a victim of, and something that I wish I knew earlier, because as soon as I started trying to focus on my skill set, I genuinely started enjoying things. Like as soon as I was reviewing calls with my mentor, as soon as I started doing closing calls and going over it with my mentor, I genuinely found it enjoyable to hop on a closing call and start to see if I could hit all the points well, to see if I could have a good call to obviously get a good deal closed. I really didn't even care about the money. I cared about hitting the points well, and honestly, it felt like a video game to me. Like the better I got at it, the more fun it became. So as soon as I got in that phase of my closing, and even with appointment setting, the better you get at it, obviously it's a volume-based game, but the better you get at it, internally you'll make more money. So that's just kind of how it goes. Obviously I said it is still volume-based, which it is, but skills obviously are gonna pay the bills in the end. So the more you focus on your skills, literally like it's a video game, like it's a sport, like obviously you wanna get better, the more money you will get in the end. And I feel like me personally, the more fun you will have as well. Number 2, you need to let go of the mindset that you don't need to invest in yourself or your skills to find success. Yes, there are people out there who have good YouTube videos, they have good information, but if the case was that everyone was getting rich off of YouTube, everyone would be there already, right? So I know a lot of people think that obviously some people can get there, but just because some people get there doesn't mean that everybody can. Why not follow a proven system of mentorships that have already gotten people results and actually invest in yourself to hold yourself accountable? Because typically mentorships are gonna be several 4 figures, but at least invest in yourself to hold yourself accountable, because when you give yourself a good chunk of money to hold yourself to, naturally speaking, you're just gonna work harder. So I would recommend that right off the bat. Like if you're looking to get into it, you want to take it full time, you actually want to be responsible and hold yourself accountable, get a mentorship, because number 1, you're going to get information. Number 2, you're going to hold yourself accountable. And number 3, you're going to hold yourself committed to something because you did put a good chunk of money up. So as soon as you get into it, don't waste time. Don't try to figure it out on YouTube. Literally, it's like playing a sport. Obviously you can try to learn everything on your own, but if you get a trainer right off the bat, you'd obviously progress a lot quicker. Same thing here. If you are still thinking of like YouTube videos, trying to figure out the freebie way, I would recommend just honestly jumping right in and getting a mentorship, learning your skills, holding yourself accountable, committing, taking that risk. It's what you need to actually hold yourself accountable and make sure that you actually are all in on something like this to make it work. So I would recommend getting that even with appointment setting. Number 2, when you get into closing, you have to reinvest in yourself. I'm a big believer of this, because closing, if you want to be like a top 1% closer and actually hit more 5-figure months, you're not going to get it based off just investing once. The most successful people invest several times. So that's number 2. When you start stacking cash with appointment setting, save it for closing. So that way when you get into closing, you have the skills, you can be more advanced in it, and you can really have someone teach you on hounding down and really reviewing calls with you, going over things that you don't understand with you. Because if you continue just to try to, excuse me, invest once and you expect it to get you the whole way, you could maybe get to that point, but reinvesting in yourself into something more advanced to get you to that next level is what anyone successful will probably tell you to do. And what I've done from my experience has helped me a lot more. Number 3, I think that everybody needs to consistently stay uncomfortable. What I mean is, throughout the whole time that I was in high ticket sales, I hit my first like 10K month in the end of June, I want to say, or July, I don't honestly quite remember. No, it wasn't June or July. It was like September, around there. I hit like my first 8K, 7K month breakthrough, like in June. That's where I felt like I made decent money. And then after that, I hit my first 10K in September. That was it. From there, I found myself getting very complacent. Like I was okay with hitting 10, 11, 12K, like kind of that range, all the way up until December. And the reason for this, at least in my opinion, was because I wasn't reinvesting in my skills. I wasn't getting uncomfortable. I wasn't putting a good chunk of money into my skill set because I wanted to stay comfortable. I wanted to stay stagnant. And I felt like what I was doing was already working for me. So that's why it did not push me beyond my limits. However, in December, obviously, I would like to think that I'm a good closer, but I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not stuff that I always have to improve on, that I can always be fixing and learning throughout the time that I'm actually closing. So in December, I reinvested in my mentor, asked him for more calls, put up a good chunk of money to ask him more calls, get more reviews, reinvesting in my skill set. And since then, it was another few 4 figures for myself at least. And honestly, I was doubting myself. Like I was like, do I really need this? Like, do I actually need to do this? But as a closer, you tell people to get over these fears and overcome like actually investing in themselves. So it comes with congruency. And I understood that like after taking like 2 minutes to think about it, I was like, how am I going to tell all these people, my prospects, to invest in themselves, take that leap for themselves, but I can't even do it. So as soon as I realized that within the first 2 minutes of actually thinking about it, I invested, which brought me to the point where obviously I just kept learning on my skill set and I kept doing things necessary to obviously get to that point. With that being said, after that, my commissions helped me explode past 10K a month, 11K a month, 12K a month. It was like in January, which was last month, was when I hit my first like 16, 17K a month right in the middle. And it's because I got uncomfortable. I invested in myself again and I got this place. I moved out of my house. I also felt like I was staying comfortable in my house. I didn't really pull the trigger on certain things that I was thinking about pulling the trigger on. So all in all, if you guys are thinking about pulling the trigger on investing in yourself again, getting maybe even that nice car if it's a dumb purchase, getting a place to live in to get uncomfortable, to put a good chunk of money up, I would say pull the trigger. There's nothing that you have to lose. It's going to make you work harder and kind of put a fire under you all in all. But yeah, moral of this video is like, I just want to tell you guys lessons that I've learned and like what people don't tell you about and like the honest truth about what high ticket sales actually looks like from a young kid doing it. But like I said, everybody could do it. It's not hard. Just put in the work that nobody else is willing to do. If you guys did find this video helpful and you actually want to know about high ticket sales more in depth, I have other videos that you could watch. I provide a lot of free value. I got a lot of the stuff. You can also DM me on Instagram. As long as you follow me and DM me, I will answer any questions that you guys need for completely free. And if you're actually more serious about high ticket sales and want to see if this would be something that would work out for you, book a call with me in the description. I'll leave a calendar link there so that we can talk about it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.